Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of my podcast. So today we're gonna be talking about the top 5 mistakes that women make when trying to lose weight. And these are the mistakes that I've made myself when I started with my journey. I mean, I've made plenty of mistakes, but these are the top 5 that come to my mind. And also they are the most popular ones in between my clients before they join my program and all the women that I talk on social media or when we have a consultation. These are probably the 5 highlights or the main things that I've seen. I've put them in random order, okay? They're not in specific order. So whatever I want to say first, it's just the first thing that came to my mind. And what I want to tell you, it's the problem that you're having right now or the mistake that you're having. And I'm going to also give you a solution to help you with this because if nothing changes, absolutely nothing changes, and you're simply going to keep getting the same outcome over and over again. So let's get started with the first one. So the main mistake that you're making right now is that you're focusing too much on something else and not a strength training. So you're not prioritizing a strength training. Maybe you're doing cardio, whether it's at the gym, joining different classes like Zumba, pump. Maybe you're going for runs. Maybe you're doing a type of training which is called a 45, that it's HIIT training, so a mix of weights and cardio, but it's not just weights. Maybe you're doing, just going for a walk, different things, but you're doing mainly cardio and you're not really paying much attention to the weights at the gym. Or maybe you're not even a member of the gym because you're very unfamiliar with the space. You don't know what to do at the gym. You're feeling a little bit lost. You have no structure. You have no guidance and you just have no idea what to do. So it's just easier to do cardio. So if you're feeling this way right now, or if this is what you're doing right now, something that I will suggest is to start adding more strength training. And the reason why I say this is because weights and building up muscle, it's the thing that's going to give you the best results. Even if your goal is not to be big and bulky and gain too much muscle mass, having that muscle mass and doing that strength training, it's important not just to help you lose weight, but also to help you long term, to help you ensure that you have stronger ligaments, stronger joints. Your bones also get stronger because when we get older, all those things start to get a little bit weaker. We start to lose a little bit of muscle mass. We decrease our strength. So if you do nothing about it, trust me, by the age you get to 60, 70, 80, even just bending down to pick up something from the floor is going to be painful. You're going to be at higher risk of getting fracture. If you fell down, you're going to break your hips, you're going to break your bones, and that's not a good time at all. So something that I would suggest if your goal is to lose weight, but also to be healthy and to have a very healthy life forever, it's to start increasing strength training. I know some of you guys tell me that you don't like the weights, you don't like the gym, but maybe you don't like it because you are overcomplicating things for you, or because, like I mentioned before, you don't have that guidance and you don't have that structure. So, what's the solution here? The solution are a few things. Number one, I want you to set a realistic schedule with how many days a week you can realistically go to the gym. Because there's no point of you trying to work out 5 times a week, 6 times a week, even 7 times a week, if right now you're doing absolutely nothing. We have to keep things realistic because that's the only way to make progress. And that's the only way to sustain the changes that we are making. So open your schedule. And the first step is going to be to organize that and schedule the days that you're going to be going to the gym. For example, let's just say you're going to get started with 3 days a week. So you can put in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday if that works for you. Or something that I think works a little bit better, it's to put one training day on the weekends. The reason why I say that is because it's much easier to be on track during the week, especially with your meal plan, but weekends can be a little bit more tricky. But if we go to the gym on the weekend, you're gonna be more likely to stay on track with the meal plan. And if we're doing that, it's gonna be much easier to lose weight and to get those results. Second thing is that I want you to get a structure. Because if you keep going to the gym without a structure, without a plan to follow, without a roadmap, you're gonna keep feeling lost, or you're gonna keep going around circles because you're gonna keep doing the same routine for years and years and years and years and years. Or maybe you're doing the routine that your boyfriend gave you, that your husband gave you, that your best friend gave you, But just because it's something that they're doing doesn't mean you have to do the same thing. You have to do something that is specific for you, also your level. So whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, we have to take those things into consideration. Because if you're someone that hasn't been to the gym ever, or you haven't been to the gym in the past 2 years, and I give you a routine, or you get a routine from your partner that is very, very advanced, the chances of you getting injured are going to be much higher, and we don't want that. So you have to make sure that you do something that it's going to be easy for you, but at the same time, it's not going to be too challenging that you're going to get injured. The next thing is that you need to get some guidance. Because if you don't have that guidance, how are you going to be able to even structure a plan? Especially if you have zero knowledge about training, about the equipment at the gym, the weights, the sets, the reps, all those different terms that we use. If you know nothing about that, then maybe it's time to get some help. Maybe it's time to start working with a coach, someone that can help you better. And I always say, work with a coach, work with someone that is not a family member, because anytime we work with a family member, whether it's your partner, cousin, your auntie, your uncle, we get it for free most of the time, and we don't really value the thing that they give us. We might follow that thing for a little bit, but then it's gonna be easier to stop. Why? Because that cousin, your boyfriend, it's not really gonna hold you accountable with your goals. It's not really gonna be checking on you all the time like a coach will do, and you're not really investing your money. So when we're not investing money, it's much easier to not do that thing. So if you truly, truly, truly want to get results, I'll suggest invest your money, invest your time, and get guidance from a coach. Next thing, focus on less, because less is more. Another mistake that we make is that we add too many things. We want to do too many exercises. We want to add so many reps, so many sets. We want to add all these crazy supersets, like giant sets. You want to try this exercise or this new exercises, but trust me, you don't need to do too much. We don't have to spend hours at the gym. So focus on quality and not too much on quantity. And same with the weights that you're lifting. Just because you're going heavier, it doesn't mean that you're going to get results faster. You have to focus mainly on your form, which is my next point. You have to focus mainly on your form, mainly on your technique, because that's the only way that you can truly benefit from the exercise that you are doing. If you're just going crazy heavy and you're not really focusing on your form, or you are, I guess, destroying your form because of how heavy you're going, then that's not really going to give you the results that you want. And again, keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. Just do something that works for you. Do something realistic, less exercises, more quality reps, get a better quality workout, and that's the best way to get these results. With time, if you have all the things that I just told you, you're gonna be able to lose weight. But of course, if we have a stretcher with the middle bone as well, but you're gonna be able to lose weight. You're gonna be able to gain a strength. If you gain that strength with time, you will be able to lift it a little bit heavier. With time, you're gonna be able to build more muscle mass. Again, you won't be big and bulky. You're just gonna have enough muscle mass to help you stay strong, but also help you burn more calories throughout the day. And if we're doing that, we wanna reduce that body fat, so you're gonna lose that weight that you wanna lose. Okay, so that was mistake number one and the solution that I'm telling you. The second thing, I'm just gonna put it up here so it's easier. So if you're listening to the podcast, I'm sharing this on YouTube as well if you guys wanna watch. Okay, the second mistake that you're probably making right now, or that most women are making, it's over restricting calories. And this is a pretty common mistake. For some reason, we feel that we have to be eating a very low amount of food, very tiny portions, around 1,000 calories, or we have to be in a caloric deficit for months and months and months and months and months to get the results that we want. Maybe right now you are skipping meals. I've done this so many times. Or you eat something that you shouldn't be eating, such as like a cookie, and then you restrict yourself a little bit more because you want to make up for the calories that you just ate, or you want to ensure that you burn more calories, you overcompensate or whatever, but you just restrict yourself too much. The problem with this, or the problem with restriction, is that restriction, it's not sustainable. Restriction, it's not healthy. And restriction only leads you to eat more later. Because right now you're restricting yourself from eating, one, the things that you love, And two, from having enough nutrients in your body is literally going to be hungry. And if you're hungry, you're just going to be looking around, and anything that you see and everything that you see, you're going to put in your mouth because that's how hungry you are. It's not that you're going crazy, but it's what happens when we restrict ourselves too much. So if we want to see those results, remember that restriction, it's never the answer. Never. And I talk about this all the time in my content. Restricting calories, restricting meals, skipping meals, especially, it's never the answer, especially if you are doing strength training. Because if you're not eating enough, you won't be able to recover. If your recovery is not enough, you won't be able to gain that muscle mass and you won't be able to lose weight. So calories or enough fuel, it's important for plenty of reasons. So please, let's stop with the restriction because that doesn't work. It didn't work before. Maybe it worked for you for a little bit, but you bounce back because it's not realistic. So if nothing changes, nothing changes. We have to change this right now. So the solution that I have for you is to, number one, find out what are your maintenance calories. So your total daily energy expenditure. This is going to be the base that you're going to use to know exactly how much you should be eating. From here, we're not going to go into a caloric deficit, okay? Yes, our goal is to lose weight 100%, and it will make sense to go on a deficit. But if you have been restricting yourself too much, I can guarantee that your relationship with food right now, it's not the best. And if you don't have the best relationship with food right now, long term, it's going to be very, very challenging to maintain whatever you have. It's going to be very challenging to lose weight because you're constantly going to be snacking. You're constantly going to be feeling guilty. You're constantly going to be binging maybe a little too much, and it's just not helping you at all. So get those calories, and that's going to be the base, and that's the only thing I want you to focus on. Don't add anything extra, and don't reduce the calories. Second thing is we're going to focus on building a healthier relationship with food. Once we have that healthier relationship with food, this is going to make things much easier for us to stay consistent with the plan, the program that we're following, and to lose weight. Because if we don't have that healthy relationship, you're going to go back to the cycle that you were in before. You're going to go back to binging. You're going to go back to restriction. You're going to go back to making the same mistakes, and we don't want that. So building that healthy relationship with food is going to be very, very important. And the only way, or one of the main ways that we can do that, is by making sure that we're eating enough food, we're having enough fuel. And that's why I suggest start with your maintenance calories only. Don't make any changes just yet. We're also going to learn about craving and how to control our cravings. Something that I suggest my clients all the time, anytime you're craving something, anytime, especially around the week before your period, during your period, for us women, our cravings go crazy high and we just want to eat anything. Something that I would suggest, instead of you running for that thing that you want to have, instead of you just not reflecting and not taking the time to see what's going on between your body and your mind, I want you to take a pause. I want you to take a few seconds to reflect and think about how you feel. Are you hungry or is it just a craving? Is this going to help you with your goal or is this not going to help you with your goal? How are you going to feel after you have that thing that you're craving for, let's say chocolate? Are you going to feel good? Are you going to feel guilty? Once we take that little pause to think about the action that we're about to make, it's going to be much easier to make an action based on the goals that we have. So something that's going to benefit us and help us reach that goal instead of taking an action based on emotions, which at that time, it's feeling that craving due to your period, or if you're feeling emotional about something else in your life, stress, upset about something, we don't want that. So we need to learn to manage those cravings a little bit better. It never gets 100% easy, but it does get easier with time. Trust me, it does get easier with time, 100%. And you get better at taking that little pause to reflect and having that little chat, that little conversation with yourself to ensure that you're taking an action or you're taking an action that is going to align with your goals. It's going to help you reach those goals. Next thing, I want you to focus on mindful eating and listening to your body cues. Often we, especially nowadays, we are always in a rush. We're eating in front of our computer, we're eating while we're walking, or we're not making enough time to eat. But if we're not being mindful with what we're eating, and if we're not listening to our body and staying in tune with our body, it's going to be a little bit harder to build a healthy relationship with food. And if we're not doing all these things, then it's going to be much harder to lose that weight. Why? Because we're not doing the basics, which are the things that I just told you. So the way that you can be more mindful with your body and with your eating is by eating slower, don't rush anything. It's by removing distractions, watching TV, working the computer, talking to people. All those distractions makes it a little bit harder for us to listen to our body. But if we put those distractions away, it's gonna be much easier for you to stay in tune with your body and listen to your body. Like once you start getting that feeling that you're about to get full. Okay, I really don't want to get too full. I want to stop eating. You can either save whatever you have for later or you give it to someone else, whatever you decide to do, up to you. But this is going to be an amazing tool to help us ensure that we are not overeating and we're giving our body enough fuel and not too much. Because this is going to be much easier to help us control a binge eating. If you had a binge eating problem, something that I used to have, it's much easier once you stay in tune with your body because you can take that time, you can take that pause, you can reflect, and you can make better choices, especially when we're socializing, especially on the weekends, because it's much harder to stay on track on the weekends than it is during the week. But if we do the things that I just told you, with time, and I keep saying with time because these changes are not going to be overnight. It's going to be much easier to build that healthier relationship with food. Okay, next mistake. Let me put it up here so we can have them all together. So this mistake that most women are making when it comes to losing body fat, it's neglecting recovery, neglecting rest. Rest is very important in our journey, very, very important. But often we don't really pay attention to it too much, or we don't really want to pay attention because maybe you feel guilty when you're resting. Maybe you feel like you're wasting time. Maybe you feel like you're really wasting, yeah, time on nothing. And you feel like if I'm resting, it means that I'm not making progress, I'm gaining fat, or nothing's changing. But if you keep training when you're sick, if you are training every single day and you don't have any rest in betweens, if you're pushing your body too much, like to the extremes, this is not going to be beneficial at all, physically and mentally. Mentally, because it's going to be very overwhelming. Mentally, because it's going to be too much. And then you are putting too much pressure on yourself. And it's just going to drive you crazy. Long term, you're going to burn out and it's just not going to help you at all. And physically, because when we're sick, if you don't rest and you go to the gym, it's going to take much longer for you to recover. If it takes much longer for you to recover, then you won't be able to go to the gym even for longer. Or you might get injured. The chances of you getting injured is going to be much, much higher because your body, it's not at its peak and your body is feeling very weak and it's just easier to get injured. And it's just not a good time. Like when you feel like shit, you really don't want to be training. That's the last thing you want to do. Your body feels very weak. Maybe you get a headache. Maybe you feel a little bit dizzy. All the symptoms that we have when we're sick. So what I want you to do from now on, anytime you're sick, anytime your body's asking you to rest, because sometimes our body gives us those signs, I want you to take a moment and I want you to take a break. Whether it's just taking 1 day off, 2 days off, the whole week if you have to, but take some time off because recovery is just as important as going to the gym to do your workout, staying consistent with your meal plan, taking your supplements, doing all those things. Recovery is also part of that triangle, part of that circle. It's very important for us to allow our body to recover 100%. So it can keep doing the things that it's doing and we can keep making the progress that we're making. So I want you to listen to your body, okay? And there's a big difference here in between resting because you are actually tired or you're actually sick or resting because you're lazy. And you will know that difference. You're probably gonna ask me like, Danny, how would I know that difference? You will know that. Because when you're sick, your body's telling you that you're actually sick. Physically, you feel the symptoms. But when you're feeling lazy, your body's fine. It's just your mind being, telling you all these things, giving you all these objections as to why you shouldn't go to the gym or as to why you should stay at home and watch that movie instead. I think you will know, trust me, you will know when you're actually tired and when you're feeling lazy. I want you to take a break. Again, whether it's a day or a whole week, take that break. That break, it's not going to take you back to square one. It might feel like that, yes, when you're taking that break, especially if you're someone who doesn't take that much or that many days off. But taking that break is going to give you better results than working day after day nonstop without taking a break. Don't go too heavy as well. If, let's say, you had a workout yesterday and your body is very, very tired, and today you're training a different body part, but you are trying to push yourself too much and you're trying to go too heavy, even though you know you're feeling weak, don't do that. Because one, the chances of you getting injured again are going to be higher. And two, it's not going to be that enjoyable and it's going to take longer for your body to recover. So listen to your body, listen to those cues that your body is giving you. That's why I always say it's very important to stay in tune. And having that recovery or having a little bit more rest is what's going to help you get their results. Okay, we have two more to go. The next one is focusing too much. Next mistake is focusing too much on the numbers on the scale. And I can guarantee this is probably something that you're doing right now or something you've done in the past. Sometimes we put way too much attention to the numbers on the scale. We let those numbers bring us down. We let those numbers get in our head and we get upset. We feel frustrated. We feel annoyed because we feel like we're doing too much. I'm going to the gym, doing my meal plan, all of this, but I'm not seeing the results. And we get obsessed. We get obsessed with the idea that the numbers are not going down. Maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I should be doing more. Maybe what I'm doing is not working and I need to try a different approach. And the problem with this is that it gets into your head too much and that obsession gets too big that it doesn't allow you to move forward. Not because you're not making progress, but because mentally you are stuck. So many of my clients right now are stuck with the numbers on the scale, and that's something that I'm helping them with right now. Because if you don't change this idea, and if you don't change that relationship with the scale, you don't change or you don't stop being fixated on the numbers on the scale, you're just gonna stay where you are. And you're gonna feel so stuck, so frustrated, so annoyed, and it's just not gonna help you move forward with your fitness and pretty much in life because you're gonna be upset that you're not making progress. You're gonna be upset that you keep looking or feeling the same way. This is gonna start impacting you and maybe your relationships, maybe at work, maybe the relationship with yourself. And I'm sure you don't want that. I don't want that for yourself. I didn't want that for myself either. And the best thing to do is to make a change. So the solution for this, if right now you're fixating on the numbers of the scale, I want you to get rid of that scale, okay? Get rid of that, whether you throw it away, maybe give it to someone, put it somewhere that you won't remember, I don't know, but just get rid of that scale because those numbers on the scale don't define you and they don't define the progress that you are making. Believe me, progress goes beyond just those numbers on the scale. Progress is more about the habits that you're changing, how consistent you're being now, the progress that you're doing at the gym. Maybe you're building more strength, you're getting stronger, lifting heavy weights. Maybe now you are completing all the workouts before you were not doing that. Maybe now you are staying more consistent with your meal plan. Your clothes is fitting a little, it's feeling and fits a little bit better. All those little things that we have to pay more attention to. No numbers on the scale. Numbers are just numbers, nothing else. There's no one to tell you you're feeling happy or upset or frustrated. Put that scale away somewhere. I don't want you to see that scale anymore. And I want you to stop being so fixated in that. I want you to also understand why those numbers fluctuate. Those numbers don't go up just because you're gaining weight or just because you're not making progress. Those numbers go up for a few reasons. The main thing that I have to say is that those numbers on the scale don't just reflect how much body fat you're gaining, but it's a reflection of your body, of your muscle mass, body fat, and also the water that's in your body, along with other tissues in your body, but mainly those three. So let's just say you drank a lot of water or your muscles have more water than usual, that number is going to go up. Let's just say you had more carbohydrates, that number might go up, or just more food in general, that number will go up because you have more food in your tummy, that number will go up. If you're drinking more water, if you went to the gym, if you are on your period as well, especially the week before, we retain a little bit more water, that number will go up. So as you can see, there are a few factors why those numbers are going up. It can be muscle mass, it can be water retention, or yes, it can be body fat. But don't just think that it's gaining weight or being fat. It's not like that. It's because of all the things that I just told you. And that number will fluctuate, especially first thing in the morning. If you didn't eat anything, that number will be lower. If then you wake yourself again at nighttime after drinking 2 liters, 3 liters of water and eating so many meals, that number is gonna go up because your body's feeling a little bit heavier because of all the food and liquids that you just ate. So please, I want you to understand that. Those numbers, once again, don't mean anything at all. Stop with that. And I want you to start celebrating the progress that you're making, not just physically, but the habits that you're changing, the habits that you are replacing, the habits that you are building, because long term, all of this is what's going to help us reach that goal and ensure that we maintain that goal, ensure that we make this a lifestyle. Okay, and last but not least, the last mistake that you're making right now that is not helping you to lose weight is that you're not being consistent. Maybe you're being consistent Monday to Friday, but you're not being consistent every single day of the week. Or maybe as soon as you had a really bad day or days, you have a whole bad week, and then you kind of like on and off, on track, off track, or maybe you have this black and white mindset, so that you either give it 100% or 0%, absolutely nothing. The problem with this is that inconsistent efforts are going to give you inconsistent results, which means you won't be able to get the results that you want. And also, which means that it's going to take much longer for you to make the progress that you want to make. And as I always say, whatever I'm telling you about this, it applies to everything that we do in life. If you're being inconsistent with your business, let's just say you just started with your business and you're being inconsistent with that. Well, guess what? You're not gonna have that consistency. You're not gonna build that business that you have. Same with your relationship. If you're not paying much attention, well, everything, literally relationship, life, work. If you are inconsistent with anything that you're doing, the results are gonna reflect that. Because what we give is what we get. So if you're only giving your 20% on a daily basis, then you're only gonna get the 20% of results. So the solution and the thing that I want you to focus on from now on is that I want you to stay consistent. And of course, it's easier said than done. 100%, I know that. I've been in this journey for 15 years now. But something that I've learned is that if I was not consistent, I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now. I wouldn't be able to be helping many women lose weight in a realistic and sustainable way. I wouldn't be sharing my story right now. I think the main thing that helped me be successful with my fitness is that I was consistent. Of course, I had my days and times that I was on and off, on and off, on and off, but I'm still here. I'm still pushing. I'm still trying. The main thing is that you just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, no matter what, and we just keep trying. So even if you're having a very challenging time right now with something outside fitness, I want you to stay consistent, because if you can do it on those tough days, then you can do it anytime, literally anytime. And also, I think it's a good way, especially if you're having problems outside fitness, to use fitness to help you with this. It can be your alone time. It can be your time to meditate. It can be your time to reflect about the thing that is going on. Just take all that pressure of yourself, off your mind, forget about that for a little bit and focus on yourself and working on yourself. Okay, so we're gonna be staying consistent even on tough days. I also want you to stay consistent even when your motivation is low. If you keep relying only on motivation to help you get to the gym or help you stay on track with your meal plans, then that motivation is also going to be on and off. And those results are also going to be very inconsistent. Those results are going to be on and off, and we don't want that. So we have to stay consistent, even if that motivation is low. And the way that we can do this is by reminding ourselves of not just the goals that we have, but the person that we want to be. Like, who do we want to be? How do I want the Daniela of my dreams, look and feel the next 3 months. How is she going to be acting in the next 6 months? What decisions is she's making? The future Daniela, the person that I want to be. Doesn't mean that I'm changing my values. It doesn't mean that I'm changing completely. It just means that I'm growing and I'm doing things to improve myself and help me take better decisions with the actions that I'm taking. I also want you to keeping consistent, even when you feel that you're not making progress. But because it's often those times that we feel that we are not making progress, that we are actually making progress. But we just don't see it, either because we are fixated on something else, like the numbers on the scale, or because the progress that we are making, it's not the progress that we want just yet, or it's not enough progress. So we feel like it's not progress at all. So we just have to stay consistent no matter what. And last but not least, I want you to be kind to yourself. If you keep being really mean to yourself, if you keep talking very negatively to yourself, the only person that you're hurting is yourself, no one else. But why? Why are you doing that? We should be our own best friend. We should be our own cheerleaders. It's you against you. It's you versus you. So you have to make sure that you have that cheerleader on you every single day, and you're kind to yourself and you're challenging those negative thoughts. Not for everybody, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Okay, just a quick recap of the 5 common mistakes that most women make, and you're probably making right now, that is not helping you to lose weight. Number one, you're not prioritizing strength training. Number two, you are over restricting calories. Number three, you are neglecting your recovery, your rest time. Number four, you're focusing too much, like way too much on the numbers on the scale. And number five, you're not being consistent. The solutions that I have for you, number one, I want you to get some guidance and structure with your workouts, because workouts and strength training is what's going to help us to lose weight and also to be healthier for our future. I also want you to focus on building a healthier relationship with food. Don't worry too much about the calories, deficit, surplus, none of that. Just focus on building that healthy relationship with food. Be more mindful with the choices that you're making with your body and listening to your body cues. Number three, I want you to rest. If your body is begging you to rest, take a break, take a day off, take a few days off, a week off if you have to, because rest, it's magic and it's the thing that's going to help you get those results. Number four, I want you to ditch that scale and stop focusing too much on the numbers on the scale. Focus on the changes that you're making. And number five, I want you to be consistent, even on tough days, even on challenging days, even when motivation is low. We have to stay consistent. But I hope, guys, that this was useful. I hope you can take away all the tips and little things that I gave you and start applying this to your routine. Remember, if you want to make a change, you need to make that change, because you are the only one that can do this to yourself for yourself, and you're the only one that can make it happen. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it on your social media and tag me at Daniela del Carpio. Until next time, and as I always say, don't ever stop believing in yourself. Ciao, ciao.